Hey, let's do a short one because I want to work out.
For the 5th time today, bro.
Fourth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Just Us Dads. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Dadversation. If this is your first time, go on over to YouTube, like and subscribe our page. Do the same for Facebook. Do the same for all the other social media platforms. Do the same for all the audio platforms or wherever you listen to the podcasts. Thank you for being here. Chris and George, they're both here. What's going on, boys?
Awesome.
Chris is awesome because finally, after 3 weeks since we started the competition, he decided to start. He's officially started. His thesis, his dissertation is done.
Am I too far? Am I too far like this?
A little bit.
You're okay. So it's completed, and he finally started. He's worked out already 4 times, he said today. So
10,000 push-ups.
Wait, when you lie like that, I feel like I'm visiting you in the hospital, but don't do that.
Is it better?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, before we get started, guys, let me remind you that we just put out a brand new clip this week, introducing a brand new puppet. It's the mom puppet. She made her first appearance. We're getting some great feedback. Go on to YouTube. Take a look at it.
The introduction to the root of our food problems.
Yeah, exactly. George, good point.
A little glimpse into it.
Yeah,
You should go watch the video to see why there's a competition today.
why there necessitates a competition.
Yeah.
This is a standard thing in every Greek household. It isn't Greek, so if you're not Greek, I don't know, find a Greek person and watch it with them.
No, but you know what it is? We thought about translating it. It's just you can translate everything except for the punchline. You cannot translate the punchline, so it wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah, exactly. Because we debate over whether or not to put subtitles, but we're like, you know what? Forget it. Let's just leave it Greek. So there you go. Head on over there, take a look at it. People are enjoying it, and we're glad that you are. Thank you for watching that. So Chris, so you officially started training. You're officially on the map. He's good to go.
Yeah, because over the weekend I had over 30 beers.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was and you know what the problem was? I wasn't getting drunk.
That's like 4,000 calories.
Chris is
maybe more.
Chris is
Sunday. Sunday at my daughter's birthday party. Can you tell I was drunk?
No,
I had 12 beers.
Before.
Eh?
You had 12 beers at the event?
Yeah, I had 12 beers there.
Oh, at the event. Okay.
Yeah, at the event. And then I carried the stuff up and I was good. And I'm like, it's weird. That's a problem. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that's a problem.
It's a problem because normally when you would feel a little tipsy, you're like, okay, I got to stop. And now that you don't feel it, you're like, okay, I got to keep going.
Well, yeah, usually after 4 beers, 5 beers, you're feeling it, man.
That's normally the signal to stop. But since it's not there, fuck it.
It's like there's no signal. There's nothing telling me to stop.
I didn't get the signal.
I'm still here.
Oh, man. No, yeah, I started. I'm in the game. The beast is out. I sent you some pictures, guys.
Yeah. He's sending us pictures of his calves. Not sure exactly what that means, but
that just says that the beast is out. That's all it says.
Okay.
The inner giant has awoken.
I think what's really happening is the Chris is late. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, I have to catch up. I do.
That's all that's happening.
So I said, let's do a short one so I can go back to working out, guys. This is disrupting my workout.
He has to do his 5th workout of the day. The only positive thing that Chris could rely on is the very possibility. I'm not sure about George. I'm not going to talk on his behalf, but for sure on mine. The very possibility that we might fuck up everything we've done in the last 3 weeks, and he might somehow find himself ahead.
No. Look, I'll be honest. Panusi, I'm a little bit afraid of because he's done it before and he's very disciplined. So he's had the discipline before. He has the willpower. He has the why power. He's done it before. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to catch up. Like if he fucks up, he knows how to. You're George. You're just forget it, man. I'm not even competing against you.
Those 3 pounds, I think you've maxed out.
I'm competing against me and Panusi. It's Panusi or me. You know, it's like I'm competing with myself or George. George, you. It's no offense, man. It's just that
it's fine, guys. I like the fact that you're underestimating me because when
I still think we're overestimating you a little. Because by December, people usually gain weight. I'm putting you around there, possibly, but I'm giving you credit. You might keep those 3 pounds on.
Notice how smart we were that we end the competition a week before Christmas. Like it's not random. We know exactly.
No, I'll tell you who's smart. Chris is smart because he lost 55 pounds in 6 months, but gained it all back in 16 days, right after December 17th, 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this time, this is it, guys. I'm telling you, I've conceptualized the plan from everything I've done, from everything I've learned from trainers. I've put it all together. I've made it my thing. I'm sticking to it. This is a life change.
I'm going to tell you guys something. Whatever I'm doing now and whatever I'll be doing the day after the weigh-in is going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the whole.
I agree.
I've done that, and I will do that. It's just I went off the track a bit, but
look, we'll blame
it was COVID for sure for me.
I agree. Because Christmas should be a day. Easter should be a day. For me, it's that week.
It's a meal.
No, it's that week while you're preparing for it, and then there's like a minimum another week taking care of all the leftovers.
Yeah, it's like you're right. It's close to 2 weeks. It's close to 2 weeks of just eating bad.
The 2-week damage.
You know what? The leftovers could be fine if you could throw out all that dessert. Throw it away. Right out. Throw it right out the fucking. Throw it right out. That's the problem. If you're eating, some leftover.
George, stop, because you're upsetting my mom, bro. Just don't say stuff like that.
Freeze them. Have them in March.
Now you're making my dad happy.
Freeze them and have them in March. It works. If you really like it and you can't see it go, freeze it and have it in March.
Yeah.
Have it next week. Have one next week then. The next week. That's it. Wait a week.
Freeze it. That is a Greek thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying it depends where you stand on the subject. You know what I mean? Some people, the idea makes them cute. Other people live by it. And
yeah.
My parents still haven't understood how it's possible that we don't have either an extra fridge or a freezer in the house.
I don't get it either. I don't understand that.
I don't understand because I have a fridge with a freezer and I'm going to get a freezer too.
We don't really use it. I mean, and I know eventually we're going to probably get to the point where we will need one, but when we get to that point, I'll get one. And we went again up north on the weekend.
No, but you don't understand the point. The turning point when you need one is when you accept that it's better to buy stuff on special.
It just accumulated in your freezer.
No, but it's true. There's no need for a freezer if you buy things at regular price.
Yeah.
It defeats the whole purpose.
Right.
The point is to go get as much as the special item or product, as much of it, and then store it.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
make sure it lasts until the next special.
That's right.
So you have to guesstimate how long the special will be.
You don't want to be caught by surprise, painful price, bro. What's wrong?
It's your fucking due diligence, bro.
What are you talking about here, man?
I know people who freeze eggs anyway.
No.
I swear to God, milk, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
No.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
The only time we froze milk was when Joanna was breastfeeding and she had so much of it and she just didn't want it to go to waste. So we froze it.
Yeah. No, that's its meats. That's its meats. Yeah. Meat, poultry, stuff like that. And downstairs, like my parents, like occasionally, like you'll see some horta. Or horta juice.
I do that.
Some juice, you know? What is this juice? It's horta juice.
I freeze leftover meals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I don't do. But I understand it.
Well,
I don't think you're crazy.
We had to throw it out. The same shit for a week. Let it taste like crap.
I don't understand that. I just don't get it.
If it's something great,
We go. We do our groceries.
have you ever had my coquino stone?
No, but look, we go. We shop. We're good for about a week and a
I'll fucking make you gain that 3 pounds, man.
half. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I just don't get it.
It's the specials. If you're buying on special,
We shop for the timeline in our fridge and the freezer is usually about a week and a half.
yeah, I love an empty fridge. It makes me so happy when the fridge is empty and it has to be replenished. I feel so good. I feel so like victorious.
You're back to the
Depleted, refill. Depleted, oh, it's just fresh everything.
So what do? Let's say your fridge empties. Before you go to the grocery shop, do you take a quick look into the freezer to see what you have so that you don't buy more of it? Or
Amateur. It's a whole week process. We keep adding stuff to the list.
oh my god!
And on the day of, we do a quick run. What else we might need? If you look at my grocery lists, we have this big calendar in our fridge, and it just every week has its own grocery list. You know, it's always the same stuff, except on week 1 it's this, on week 2 it's that extra, on week 3 it's that extra thing, on week 4 it's that extra thing. You know,
holy shit, bro! It's like a whole study, man.
This is the pattern. It wasn't thought out. It was slowly worked into this thing.
We've got, and this is gonna throw you guys off track completely, because we've gone to the grocery store, we've bought things we thought we needed, we came home, there wasn't something that we forgot eggs, so we went back and got eggs and came back. Like, it's like we don't have a list. We just go, do you remember what was in the fridge? No. Okay, let's just get milk, this, that. Okay, what do we need?
Terrible.
Sometimes we get more, sometimes we get less, and then we just have to go back.
32%.
I don't know if I'm like disappointed or disgusted.
I'm both. I
don't know where I'm at.
You guys been doing this for 10 years. I'm completely disgusted. Yeah, haven't you learned anything?
What do you mean, fuck? Like you take a whole week?
Put down that fucking measuring tape and start looking at those expiration dates. Come on.
Wait, that means there's like 90% chance that your fridge stinks once a week.
3 days a month.
The probability is there.
Something's not rotating. Something's not organized. Something there's too much of. It's there.
No,
I bet you that time you forgot the eggs and you bought something you didn't need already. You're like, oh, we already had this. Why did I buy it? You went back for the eggs and you bought it again a third time.
Wait. I'm sure once a month there's a cheese with a little bit of mold on it, and there's some fruit in the back rotting.
That's usually strawberries. It's usually a box of strawberries that people forgot behind the lettuce.
No, that happens when like a little bag of parsley. It gets.
There you go. Because it's so cheap, we forget about parsley.
Yeah, like
it's $1 a bunch.
That's happened. Parsley, sometimes lettuce. But no, usually about a week and a half, we know that we're good. We go back through the cycle, and we know what we need, man. We just, we get our chickens, we get our bread, our cereal, milk, eggs, fruits, the cheeses, and that's it. Maybe once a month we'll we'll restock on the pasta and the sauces. But see, like that I don't understand. See, I don't know. Like, I get the whole point of, okay, let's look at the specials. Fuck it, let's stock up on the chickens. Put them in the freezer. But I don't know.
I don't buy everything on special. I buy most of the stuff on special. Yeah. But there's certain items that I don't even buy. My dad goes. I just pay him.
He's in charge.
He's in charge of that. There's certain things that he needs to pick.
If Chris pays more, he might kill Chris. So he has to spare the family the grief.
He has to pick. There's certain things that he finds, and he goes to these places that I wouldn't want to go. So it depends. I'm into the specials. I'll look at the specials, and there's one thing I do. I always want to try something new every week, or at least every time. I'm gonna buy something that I haven't tried or that I want to try. Like anything. It could be a different type of fish. It could be a snack. I don't know. This week it was these brochettes, chipotle and maple. Like, I had to buy them. I had to try that. Sometimes it's a different cheese, a different sausage.
Yeah.
I like that.
George is laughing. Secretly, he's laughing. He's like, yeah, keep going. Keep doing that.
Keep
doing
trying
that.
new stuff. Keep trying new stuff.
Yeah.
There's some new flavored chips, too, that are going to come.
Guys, I'm winning the competition.
Spicy dill pickle Miss Vicky's are incredible.
Yeah, they are. Those are good.
Yeah. So speaking of those chips, man, and because we're talking about the diet,
And the malt salt and vinegar.
something that I don't understand,
vinegar.
because we went for everyone listening and watching, we went on Friday to this little park.
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Okay, must have been another week. Anyway, and, George pulls out a fucking bag of chips and starts eating. He's like, everything's accounted for. I'm like, I don't understand your fucking diet, dude. It's like, what have you cut out, and what do you allow yourself to eat? Like, I saw you pigging out on those chips, and then
I had a couple handfuls.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I was having food the whole time, most of the time.
Okay, look, bro. I'm not gonna judge you. I mean, you've lost the weight before.
Did I tell you I walked 11 kilometers that night? What did you do?
Yeah, nothing.
Good.
I walked
Keep talking about my potato chips.
No, but he's got a point. He's got a point there, because it's like you can count. This is content now for what we've learned and what we've been taught. Not all calories are the same. You can have your calorie intake and be under, right? You could be under your caloric intake and lose weight, but the calories are not rich in nutrients, and they're dead calories or the bad calories. So there's a point there. Like, you can have chips or beer and be in your calories, but you know what I mean? You continue that for a year, then there's no nutrition there. So I think that's what George was trying to say. But at the same time, if you do it,
I was just snacking, but you didn't see what I had for lunch. You didn't see what I was eating.
Yeah. No,
I wasn't having cold sandwiches and pizza. You know what I mean?
I'm being general because I've done it too. I've tried to lie to myself that I'm eating right by doing that.
No, but I was having all vegetables. Man. The chips was the cheap. Just having some fun.
Yeah.
And the chips I was having
the cafeterias.
The chips I was having had no salt. Zero.
The Vicky's had no salt?
Yeah, Miss Vicky's was zero salt. I told you, try some. He didn't want to.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
I had a couple of Doritos for my kid though.
Yeah.
I was having the Miss Vicky's with no salt. Excellent.
I'm honestly, I'm looking forward to bringing on the different experts that we that we're going to be planning out soon, so that we can have these conversations and maybe even educating the people that are listening or watching as well. Get some good questions out there.
Absolutely, because that was one more thing I wanted to say, because that's a big problem with veganism. Veganism means no meat, but you can have beer and chips and Oreos, and you're pretty much a vegan. And anyway, but looking forward to bring on those experts.
Guys, let me let's talk a little bit about and this is a good little segue, because we're talking about the groceries and how you shop and when you shop and all that stuff, and we want to talk a little bit about today to tackle couples finances. How well, I don't know if there's one way. I mean, how do you guys organize yourselves financially? Is there one joint account? Do you guys live with separate accounts? I've had people come up to me. They were starting, their life together. They were getting married, and they were asking questions. And I'm definitely not. At least I don't think I'm the right person to answer those questions. And I mean, since then I've been questioning. I'm like, okay, how does it work in other households? Because these people came to me and they're like, do you guys have a budget? Do you how does it work? Or do you guys have one account? And I guess maybe we'll just start with their example. What they did basically is that I can't remember if they had a joint account, but they had one credit card, and everything in the month, all expenses, everything was charged to the credit card. And then at the end of the month, they both paid off that credit card basically with their combined salaries. So they were asking questions like, how does it work? Like, do you guys put out a budget? Like, how do you calculate your month and all that stuff? And we actually sat down. We're like, okay, well, look, we have a budget. Like, we know what has to go out every month. So we know electricity, the phone, the internet, our groceries, gas, blah blah blah.
You know what? I don't think they were asking you about that. I was
Yeah.
thinking. I think they were asking you more about how do you commit.
Oh, to
Are you doing? Okay, we need $2. Let's put $1 each. Or are you doing? I put everything I make, and you put everything you make, and that makes it fair. Are we putting?
Yeah.
I make half of what I make versus half of what you make, and that's fair. Are you doing? I put this many dollars, so you have to match my dollars regardless if you make more or less. I think that's
Well,
what they
look.
wanted to know. That's what people are confused about.
Yeah. Look, here's what I think. I think the minute that you get married and
You-
that you start a family under one house,
Uh-huh.
I think there has to be this commitment where we need an account and money needs to go there, and there's no 50-50 anymore. I mean, we're one now. You know what I mean? It's not how much does our groceries cost? I'll put half in you. Like, that shouldn't exist in my mind, and I'm sure it exists. And I know couples that work that way, right? I mean, they go to the groceries and they get half, and the wife or the girlfriend or whatever goes first, and then she pays, and then the husband goes after and he pays. Like, I've seen shit like this. um
Look, everybody has different values, so it works
for
different
me
for
for
everybody.
me for me mathematically, it's like such a puzzle and a headache that I think this is just my opinion, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I think the best solution is for the couples to have a joint account. In our case specifically, the pays and everything goes into one account, and everything comes out of that. All the expenses, insurances, mortgage, everything comes out of that account. And then I still have my old account that I had before we got married, that now we use to just put money aside as a separate savings, so that we don't see it. We don't see that it exists, so that we don't get tempted to kind of dip into it, kind of thing, right? And that's how we work. I mean, we each had one credit card and one line of credit. When we got married, we canceled one, so we kept just one card, one line of credit. That's it. I don't think we needed the extras. I mean, and that's how we work. I don't know. I mean, George, how is it at your place?
Well, I'm not going to share as much as you because I'm not stupid, but
Sorry, well, how much? Like, no,
I'm exaggerating. I'm joking.
but like the structure, like.
No, you're very you're pretty mapped out. Look, me, I'm gonna gauge it by level of commitment. So you guys are at full capacity on both sides. You guys are putting equal parts. You're putting equally what you both have together. So you guys are 100% committed on both
Yeah,
sides.
it's one pot. It's one large
It
pot.
can't get more fair than that.
Yeah.
And you're both you're doing it to guarantee success or to try to the best of your abilities to get there.
I think it's the best way to kind of take care of the household. Now, if you have
It's
side
everything.
stuff,
It's more than house. It's
no, yeah, your kids, like we're talking
because what you described before, the two with the first
Yeah.
one goes first, and they put the stick they're sharing the cart with the person, but they're not sharing the bill, and they put the stick to separate each other, and you're standing behind them. You're like, okay, they're like roommates who have a sexual relationship and a friendship. It's just that part of it is just the roommates. It's a split.
Yeah.
And that works for them because they have different values. But I believe, and to them, that might be more fair because they accept the dollar for dollar, or you take care of your own ass and I take care of my own ass. I mean, I don't care beyond that. They share the restaurant bill and all that weird stuff.
Yeah, it's strange to me.
As long as nobody feels ripped off.
Yeah.
If it works, I guess it's okay.
Yeah, like I know a couple where before they got married, the guy had already a house. He was paying his mortgage, so the girl moved in to the house. So the way that they work is that since he takes care of the house, everything else comes out of her account. So still everything is separate. I just don't understand how. I mean,
How do you find balance?
I don't know, man. Again, and we're not here to open the books of our private lives there, but for me, it's just you look at it as a unit and you take care of that, and then if you want anything else, I mean, yeah, we all have Joanna has her account, I have my account, and it's mostly just to put money aside, right? I don't know. I mean, Chris, how are you guys structured?
I can't give away too much. Like George said, look, I believe in the joint account. There's a joint account. Like you get married, you start that account. You start putting in the money you make from the wedding. Your savings goes in there. Yes, I have multiple accounts that I use for different reasons. There's the business account. There's savings account. There's different stuff. She has her own account as well. But I don't think that's the issue. I think most couples are not going to have the problem with a joint account, separate account, whatever. Most couples are going to have issues with debt and not enough assets. So it's fine where you put the accounts. It's like if one's a spender and one's a saver, there's conflict. If two people are spenders, there's going to be an issue. If two people are usually savers, kind of get something more balanced. So it's not about how you separate the accounts. It's usually what the habits are and how congruent both people's habits are, right? So if one guy is saving a lot, the other one's spending a lot, or let's say one is saving 10K a year, the other one's spending 20 grand on credit cards, it doesn't matter if you have a joint account or not. You know what I mean? It's bleeding on the other side.
Yeah.
So I think that the focus should be on like assets, accumulating assets. Usually assets will be in both names, I guess, or for kids' names or beneficiaries, whatever, how you want to handle it. But I believe in a joint account with a separate account. But I break my accounts in different things. So I'm a little different the way I work on things. I have an account for necessities, where it's like the everyday. I have an account for savings. I have an account for investments or to save money to do other things. I have a play account, which is I only spend money from there. So I don't really budget in a month, but I manage my accounts. I have an education account. I spend a portion of my salary, a percentage of my salary in education, whether it's seminars, books, whatever. And then I have also a percentage that I always give. It could be foundations, hospitals, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how I manage my money. And then there's the investments, there's the RESPs for the kids, RRSPs, and blah blah blah. But so I'm saying there's more to just the joint account or separate account. Like you have to be good at all the other stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's who's managing the liabilities, who's managing the debt.
I feel like this is super important for not just newlyweds, but in general, just couples, because we know that the reason number one for the cause of divorce is money. It's finances. People have this inability to work out their finances, and I think it comes down to the point where it's like, I don't know. I mean, we're not there. We're not having any of those issues, but I'm guessing that it's like, I pay more and you don't. Why should I pay this and you're not? It comes back to what George was saying. Like, what's the level of commitment?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the reason.
But not only the level of commitment, because he touched on a good point. It's also what is the level of fairness? What is equitable? What is the right thing? Let's say you're making 50K or like your one partner is making 50K, the other partner is making, let's say 150K. Is 50-50 fair? Maybe, right? Or is that fair? Is it the same sum? That's fair. What's fair? What's fair in that scenario? And it depends. I think we had the conversation with the pizza. Like if you buy pizza, what's the fairest way to split it? Is that the guy who pays that gets more? Is it the heaviest guy that gets 2 pieces because he weighs more? Is it the guy who hasn't had it in a long time that deserves it? Is it 50-50? Is it like split down you don't know what's fair here. That's why there's no formula. If the two people agree, then you get a consensus. If not, then it gets screwed up. And if you have two, I think the problems are if you have a spender and a saver and those things clash, or if you have 2 spenders. Like if you have 2 savers or at least one saver and one less spender, it could kind of work. But if you have the big differences in mentalities, there could be issues.
Yeah.
And that's what
sometimes it takes even less than just a spender. Just somebody who doesn't earn enough and the other one is not satisfied.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that.
Not enough all the time.
Yeah. But I was thinking of writing a blog to that, George. The money. I wrote one, but I want to write money does bring happiness. I don't want to name it. But there's 3. There's at least.
Well, everybody's happy, but there's no more money, man. When there's no more money, everything falls apart. But when there's money, everybody's smiling and happy and sharing and loving everybody.
Because I don't agree that money doesn't bring happiness. You know, like
Look, I understand what hides behind that. You know.
Yeah, me too.
Financial stability does bring happiness.
It does. It does.
I get it, you know, like I get what hides behind that and why it's such a popular quote and everybody uses it and like, and I get where it comes from. But yeah, I mean, Chris, you said it so many times. It's like it's the basis for everything. I mean, if you take out your money out of the equation, you are much more miserable than if you have it.
Yeah.
You know?
So that could be a nice little blog. That's the one I'm going to work on. Remind me.
I will. So that'll go up on the site.
Yeah, like I don't talk like that to my kid. I don't tell him that money doesn't bring happiness. I told him it won't make you happy if that's all you think about. But don't start thinking that it's a bad thing. Oh, I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna make any money because I want to be happy. Like some stupid people I hear.
I want to paint a picture and write a poem.
Yeah. It's like, don't do that. Money doesn't bring happiness. It's like, okay, read the blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I you know,
it doesn't bring happiness, but it relieves a whole lot of stress.
Well, put it this way: it's like there's no problem in this world that having money makes it worse.
I just think what that quote means is that it distinguishes between being happy and making money. Like, do what you want, be happy with what you're doing, and kind of don't focus on the money, but you need the money.
Yeah. You're right. It's two separate things. You can be happy because it's a mindset, but money fuels choices. Money gives you options. Money gets you out of the hole. Money gets you out of issues. And everywhere you go, people ask you for it. So it is one of those important things in the equation, no?
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously you don't want to chase it for happiness, but don't tell people money doesn't bring happiness. It could bring some of it.
No, absolutely. And
it will definitely eradicate misery.
And we've spoken about it. I mean, we're not gonna dwell on it either. I mean, we've spoken about it in previous episodes, and we have blogs about it too. But you know, the way that our kids are educated and made to understand what money is, how important it is, and how to make it, how to value it, is something super, super, super important that we have very little of. Either in our education system, even socially, like in the family setup, because very few families understand it, right?
Yeah.
Like take us. I mean, I'm not a pro. I don't have investments like Chris does. I don't understand markets the way you do. I understand the value of money. I mean, you know, my wife and I are entrepreneurs. We have our own stuff. I mean, you know, we're in that mindset where I think, I don't want to say ahead of others. It's just that I feel that we've understood that there's much more that we get for working for ourselves than if we were working for someone else. That's what I've taken out of the situation that we're in. And I want that to be transferred on to my kids. Not that I don't want them to work for other people, because they will work for other people. It's just that they need to understand what the reality of every different situation is.
And the value of it, It's very important to understand the value of it and respect it. And understanding that it's a tool and you got to use this tool. And no matter,
because it's not something that I grew up with. Like I grew up in a setting where none of my parents weren't at all business savvy. They didn't have their businesses. They were a working class family. And that's what we were told to do. Go to school, get grades, get a good job, and get a steady job.
And save every penny.
Get a job that you're going to have like in 20, 30 years that you're going to retire from and get a good pension kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, just later in life, you kind of start, you know, your brain starts kind of clicking the wrong way and you're thinking, fuck, that doesn't make sense, you know? And then you're kind of combating that other ideology with your parents. You know, you're trying to make them understand, and they don't, and they think they're right because they're older and they have more experiences and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's still bad advice. Like the worst advice you could give, especially today, the worst advice you could give your kid is go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and get a secure job. That's the industrial age mentality. Not today. Well, at least not for me. I'm not saying this is not some people. That's the advice they're going to give. That's fine. I just wouldn't give that advice.
Look, I still think that school is important because
it is. But it's not that.
Like there's stuff that they're gonna teach. They're gonna get taught in school and learn in school that you as a parent can't do. Not because you don't know, but probably because you don't have the time to invest to sit down with them. Probably because the house setup isn't appropriate for you to sit down and teach something to the kid. Whereas in school, their mind is there, the other kids are there, they're listening. That's the right atmosphere for them to absorb and to learn. So that can work at home. So I think the school and the education is important, but not because that's what's going to get them through to their lives. And I believe it more and more now. And it's funny because even now today my parents are still questioning what we're doing, and I think it's much more as I don't think they worry, but it's just they want to make sure that we're always okay, right? It's like, you guys are good. How are things going? You sure you're fine? It's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Different paradigm of thinking, man. Because it's what they never had. It's what they never had. And like,
they don't know.
And they don't know better. They don't know better. Yeah.
They don't know. So it's not like they can give you advice on it, right?
It's hard to forget what got you to the finish line and just let it go. It's an old philosophy that works for them. It's hard for them not to believe in it.
Yeah. It did work, and it could work for some people. It's just, it wouldn't be the advice that I would give. I just find that advice is very limiting. It's not that it's bad advice. Let me rephrase. I said it's bad before. It's not the worst advice you can give. It's very limiting advice. It's advice that you put the cap on. And once you put the cap on, then you don't ask questions like, how can I do better? That's what you accept. You accept that structured way of living. And that's where it's dangerous.
And George, it's not necessarily what they only knew, because maybe they didn't even know. It's just how they were brought up to think that you need to go to school and you need to get a good job, you need to be educated, and sometimes they didn't reach that level. So
it's what they knew would get them out of, for you not to get into their situation.
Yeah. So in most cases, they immigrated here.
But committing to the same place, like, look at your mom, she's still working there.
Yeah, but my mom works there because she loves it.
That's what I mean.
And number two, she can't be at home with my dad.
Yeah.
So these are the two. But
she believes in that 30 years in the same job, same place,
Yeah. So they missed on all that education part, get a good job part, and all that. So they thought that because that's what we were told and we missed on that, we need to make sure now that our kids get that.
Yeah.
We need to do whatever it takes now for our kids to have that. But from the time that they were 10, 11, 12, 13, when they were being told that, to today, we're talking about this huge generational gap and this enormous change of circumstances that it's no longer the case.
Yeah. It's not the same thing. And it's, what, it is a paradigm difference, because one is, do what you got to do for security, even though it's not true today, but it's a misconception. A job today is not security. People change jobs every year, every 2 years. You could be laid off. The company could downsize. There's a bunch of things that can happen. So that's not even true. But in their mind, it's security. What they don't want is freedom, right? But if you work hard, you can go for the freedom. But the freedom has risk, and you might even fail. But I find that the idea of risking a little bit more for the freedom is a better paradigm than to not risk anything, settle for complacency and mediocrity, and go for the security that in reality is not really security anymore. That's why I'm saying today it's not a good idea. It was a great idea in 1960.
Yeah.
Right? 1945, after the war, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 was good. 2000, it's changing.
Well, because you had the industrial setup to guarantee you a job for 30 years.
That's right.
Everything was growing.
It's an industrial idea. That is an industrial idea. And now we're in the information age. And very soon we're gonna end up in another age, the artificial intelligence age. You're not gonna tell people go get a job. What are you talking about? That's different. So I'm telling you, it's anyway. But look, it worked for them. It kind of worked for us. It's up to the new generation now to figure out what is the right paradigm.
And I think that's going to be a challenge for us as parents, because now, we don't really think about these things. My kids are too young to even understand anything about money. Like, my daughter the other day, like, we're having a conversation with my dad. He's looking for a new car, and my daughter came. She's like, "Oh, so what car is Papu getting?" I'm like, "I don't know."
A Tesla.
She's like, "Oh my God, it's gonna cost like $1 million." I'm like, "I'm not so sure." I don't know. Like, they don't know.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cute.
So we're not even there yet. But I don't know if I'm worried. For sure, I'll probably be worried when we reach that point where you are at now, Chris, where my kids are going to be 12, 13 years old, and they're going to be going into that bracket where they're much more mature, and you can tell them things that will register. Where will we be from now, 10 years from now, for example? Right?
No, but that's I'm not focusing on a profession. I'm focusing on what does he want to become, not as a profession, as a person. What are his values? Does he want to lead people? Does he want to be led? Does he want to be creative? Does he, you know what I mean? I'm not focusing on like you can be a good accountant, you know?
Yeah, what I'm what I'm thinking may be a challenge is that when it comes down to that, like, you as a parent, you still want to be there to kind of help guide him in the right direction, whatever that direction may be, right? You still want to be there, even if you can't guide him in the right direction, at least to be there as a soundboard, right? If he has any issues or questions, that you're there to kind of, okay, what's going on? Can I help? Like, when you reach that point, when we're going to be at that point, are we going to know enough about what's going on
No,
that we'll be able to kind of guide them, or are we going to be kind of lost like our parents are today?
I think we are going to be. That's why the foundation is important.
You're not there to teach. Remember, you're there to just support.
You're there to support. You're there to ask the right questions, and you're not only there to ask the right questions. You're there to ask the right questions to make it a habit, so he understands that he needs to ask the right questions. So you're just there to help him help himself.
So you, in the process of you trying to figure it out, you're helping him figure it out.
And you're learning together. It's like, hey, what does that mean? Let's go learn about that. Oh, what is that? What is Bitcoin? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's go watch. What is it? You know, he asked me a couple of questions. All right, I know this part. Let's go see what I don't know. What do you think? You know what I mean? So it's not giving him the formula. It's giving him all the right fundamentals and the basics. And about money, you don't have to explain everything about money, but you have to understand there's certain basics about money. Like, money will always flow from the people that value it least to the people that value it more. Never the other way around. That's where money flows. If you don't value your money, you're spending it. If you're a consumerist, you're spending it. And there's someone out there collecting it. Like, you know, every time you pay your bill, somebody's collecting it. Yeah. So there's certain
on which side of the equation do you want to be?
Well, exactly. Start thinking on exactly. It's not, oh, become a doctor. Oh, he's going to become a lawyer. If you brainwash your kid to become a lawyer, I'm not saying lawyers it's not a good profession. That's not my point. My point is, if you brainwash your kid to become a lawyer, what you've done is you've eliminated every possibility out there. But if you don't tell him what to become, but you give him the fundamentals, the world is open to him, and then he'll figure out himself. He'll figure out his strengths. He'll figure out his weaknesses. And with the knowledge he has and education, then he could go and, okay, this is what I want to do.
Position himself.
Yeah, and we clearly missed out on that for sure, because we had a choice of like 5 jobs to do. Right? Fine, that's it. Like, how are you supposed to, like, George, maybe you would have been like the best clarinet player in the world. And you don't know because, you know, I don't know.
Wait. Why clarinet? The guy's a drummer. Like, why clarinet?
But imagine, like, you could be like, I don't know, like some random thing, you know, like the best, I don't know, trumpet player or whatever, anything, like something different that you haven't done. Now that's why I'm not using drums.
Mm-hmm.
Like
accordion.
There you go. Like, how do you know? Maybe you could have been that. And
maybe if you gave me that speech, I'd be a great accordion player making no fucking money.
and that's why we should talk about it in another episode, or maybe do a blog or a video on that. The Igikai. There's a lot of tools today to answer these questions. Like, I find a tool like that is much more, will do your kid or your children a better service than reading anything else. You know, just showing them that diagram. Passion, what you're good at, what makes money, and then you put it all together. You know, you guide them through that. That is an eye-opener, man. Because you know what? The statistics, they're out there. 80% of the people hate their jobs. Now, what does that mean? That means they're not at the right place, because everyone has a genius. Everyone has a skill set. Everyone has something unique about them.
Yeah,
right?
it's just a matter of finding it.
It's about finding it and about being brave enough, to find it. But if you settle for something, then what you're doing, you're not exercising that genius, and you're stuck hating your job. And if you're underpaid and overstressed on top of that, then the result is bad. And there's a lot of that, especially in the States. Canada is a bit better. The numbers are a bit better. But the US, it's a lot of people that are overworked and underpaid. Overworked, overstressed, underpaid. And there's this thing Les Brown said, and you can't be in that situation. And I see a lot of people in that situation. He said, you don't want to be in a situation where you get paid enough not to quit and you work hard enough not to get fired. Think about that. That's such it's a limit. Like here, when you know what, that's another lid. You have a lid on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't perform there. You can't be good. You can't self-fulfill because you're there. And if 80% of the people are there, all I want is my kid not to be there. So I don't care what the profession is. I don't care what it is. I want the fundamentals. I want him to understand fundamentals like that. So when he sees it, there's a signal. Now I understand your kids are a bit younger. I'm having different conversation with my older, and we don't talk like I was Maria, hey, you know. But I want to, as soon as he understands, even if he doesn't fully understand, I want him to start comprehending that he has to start seeing these things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I find you're right. It's a bad system. It's a bad system. Think about it. What are you going to be? A lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a marketer. So what we tell our kids is, going to a system and accept the lifestyle that comes with that system. Well, why not design your life and figure out what you need to do in order to have the life you want? That's a way better approach, right?
Yeah, because I think, and you know, just to go back to how maybe our parents were thinking, not maybe, how exactly they were thinking, is that they want you to have that safety net and just for them to have peace of mind to know that you're okay. And in their mind is a career that you're making, let's say 100 grand a year, 120 grand a year because you're a top lawyer or because, you know, whatever, you're a doctor or an accountant or whatever, fits in that pattern. Like you shouldn't have problems, whether they're financial or other professional, if you're in that kind of framework. So my mind is at ease that you're okay.
Yeah, but that's not true.
Not how much you make.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, what I was going to say, there's people that make 250 grand that are broke, and I know people that make 80 grand that are rich. It has nothing to do. It's what you keep and what you do with it. Nothing to do. Like there's even people that make 250 grand that are $1 million in debt. That means a homeless person is 1 million times richer than them.
Yeah.
Right? A guy at zero is 1 million plus. So it's nothing to do with money, and that is it's almost like an obscure notion to understand. A lot of people think like that. It's he makes more money. It's what does he keep?
Yeah,
you know, it's not what he makes.
So he doesn't spend.
No, what I'm saying is like the idea that you have that job should permit you normally, on normal circumstances, to live a good life. Forget about spending it all and being in debt and all that stuff. Normally, in their minds, they were thinking, if you are an accountant or a CA, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, and you're making 6 digits a year, you should normally have your finances in order. You should be able to live a good and comfortable life. And therefore, as me, a father or a mother, my mind is at ease. You're good to go.
But the reality in this, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. That's where they're coming from. That's their level of perspective. But don't forget, in today's economy, let's say you're making 60 to 80 grand, let's say. Okay. If you're not a saver or very careful with your money, you're not living a comfortable life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why the advice is no longer good. And then the second wave of advice was, hey, forget about going to school, getting a good job, getting good grades, getting a good job, and going out in the world. Now it's like, hey, now you need a master's. No, you should go get a PhD. And a lot of these people are getting even more hurt now because nobody's going to pay for that extra level of education.
Yeah. No,
you know, so what you've done is you stayed even longer in school. You've missed out on the experience. You come out, you're asking for more, and they can hire 2 guys doing what you're doing because they have a better attitude. So even that is not the best advice anymore, especially when education is free now.
That's a crazy shift, though. If you think of it, right?
Yeah.
When we were growing up, and I immediately knew that there was no way in hell that I was doing a master's, let alone a PhD. Like for me, it was let me finish so my mom could be happy.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here quick.
Get out of here, you know. But imagine, like all that mentality, all that ideology, were kids that were, that were told that education is the most important thing, and you have to reach the top of the education ladder. You need to you need to excel, and you need to get your master's, and you need to get your PhD. Like it must be such a disappointment when they realize that the market has no longer the need for that. And I mean, I don't know, and maybe I'm generalizing. I don't know. Maybe there's certain areas.
Yeah, we are generalizing. We are generalizing, obviously.
But in general, I'm thinking that the bigger portion of the population, whatever they do, I don't think they will need a master's or a PhD. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it must be so disappointing for you to have wasted all that time in school thinking that you're going to go into the marketplace at the top of the ladder, and the guy is telling you, dude, I don't know, man.
It's even worse when you went up the ladder and you find out that the ladder is in the wrong building, or it's on the building that you wanted to conquer, right? And I've been to career fairs, many of them, for recruiting, and these young guys and the masters and the PhD guys, they're thinking they belong in some sort of elite, right? Because they're in a theoretical world. They haven't seen what the real world is, right?
Right.
So it's like they've been in school for way too long, and then they want to enter a practical world
with the expectations that comes.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you're not gonna come out of school knowing nothing, making $100,000. That is not gonna happen. No one is gonna pay you that ever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I know a girl who is, I think she is doing her PhD now. I'm not sure, in education. Okay, financially she's having a hard time because obviously she's in school. Whatever. She's married. She has a kid now. There's only one income coming in, and there's a position that opens up at an elementary school. And you're telling her, listen, they need teachers. Obviously, you qualify. Go work. And the mentality that she has, like, no, I'm going for a PhD. I'm not going to go work at an elementary school.
Yeah,
like it's beneath me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They believe that there's some sort of elite. But on the other side is that if that's what they want to do, and they want to stay in that theoretical world and be in research and development and go get grants and do more research, that's fine too. And then become a professor and teach at the university level. That's fine. It's just that that you're going for that. You've accepted that lifestyle. And you're not even doing it for the money. But if you're doing it for the money, you're in a field that you don't really love, but you still put in all the hours and all the efforts to get the accolades. It's pretty miserable when you find out that the real world is not going to pay you what you wanted.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of times where it's like with technology not going very, very fast, you could study all your life. And then 2 years later, the information is obsolete.
Yeah.
And I've lived that in engineering. The fundamentals are the same. Yeah, they never change. Physics doesn't really change. It changes. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't change a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like the new discoveries come 10 years, 20 years, 100 years later. But so the fundamentals stay the same. But a lot of the technology does change. A lot of the stuff changes. Like a lot of the stuff that you've learned the past 2 years is gone. You don't even use anymore. Or you don't implement, or there's another technology that eradicated the old and now is going in with the new. So you have to be a constant learner. And that's another point. It's like we conflate learning with education and training. These are words that we're not good with. Training is one thing. Education is another thing. And learning and being smart with your applied knowledge is another thing. Right? Yeah. So it's not the same thing. Doesn't mean because you got educated with a program, you come out and you're smart. That's not what, and it doesn't mean you're educated, you come out and you know what to do because you probably haven't been trained properly. So it's the idea is to try and do a little bit of everything, being trained properly, being educated properly, meaning asking the right questions, asking the why, not only the how and the what, but why. And at the same time, keep learning. That's the biggest problem we're having with college students or university students. They don't want to learn. They think learning stops at school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's interesting what you told me the other day, where now CGIPs have a 3-year engineering program, and that's going to cause a big problem to the universities.
Well, it's like if you could go to university, you could continue your studies. It's just that for somebody that knows what they want to do, the building systems program, they know what they want to do. They know they want to be an HVAC specialist. They want to be in heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Well, you might not need to go to university because the program is so rich. It's exactly what they teach engineers. Condensed, obviously, like they've trimmed the fat. They've condensed. They've put really the classes that you need to be an HVAC specialist or an HVAC engineer. And you go do that in 3 years. You have really a great staff teaching you. Very practical. There's laboratories. You test the hypotheses, the theorems, and then you go out and it's like you're getting education. You're getting the theory part, but you're also getting that practical aspect. So when you come out,
you know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know. So it's there is going to be guys. You could go and learn how to do real estate development right now with $19. There's Udemy, Skillshare. I forget. There's 4 or 5 of them. Guys, think about that. And this is more for the Americans because Canada, whatever, it doesn't cost much. But in the States, there's people that indebt themselves 100, 150 grand, 200 grand.
They spend their whole life.
They spend the whole life. That means they get out of debt at 40 to start living and making some money. And you know what? In the States, no matter what you do, even if you bankrupt, whatever chapter you use for bankruptcy, student debt is never forgiven. You know that?
Yeah.
You have to pay that back. And there's kids that go take out loans for 100 grand to go make 80.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Think about it. So it's like that's what I mean by there's a new world today. And when you have guys like Musk saying that he hires and he no longer looks at CVs, he doesn't care. You come with a good attitude. You got to come with a little bit of wisdom. You got to come with a little bit of brain. And we'll sit down and we'll show you everything. You're going to learn with us. And you can buy some shares in the company. You know what? Why would you? You know what I mean?
But that's not new. There's a lot of companies and firms that have already established that kind of way of thinking.
Yeah, you're right.
Ago. I remember back when when my wife had gotten that job at the law firm in the PR division. She knew she wasn't as qualified as certain other applicants, and I think she told me that after she got the job, she kind of got close with the directors, and she kind of asked them about her interview and all that stuff, and they said, "Listen, we prefer getting someone that doesn't have the experience but has the ability to learn, so that we mold them in the way that we want the people to be in our quote unquote family, right? In our business, rather than to get someone that thinks they know everything and comes here and kind of rocks the boat all the time, right?" Yeah.
This whole idea of the superstar, you're right. It's not new. I'm just saying people are implementing a little bit more and more, and it's becoming more trendy now.
Yeah,
because it's fine when a firm does it or a couple of firms are doing it, but when Elon Musk goes public and starts saying that, a lot of people are like, "Hey,
it becomes a trend."
Exactly.
Yeah, they set the pattern.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys, let's end it over there. Stick around.
How did we get to that topic, man?
Yeah, I don't know. This is what's fun about it.
Money and how to get it, and how to teach our kids to get it.
Money and how to teach your kids to get it. Stick around, guys. There's going to be some amazing episodes coming up. We're working on finding some specialists just so that we can kind of tie in this whole competition that we're doing.
And the specialist will explain to Chris how it's impossible for him to win.
I'm not talking, guys. Just by the way, just for your information, I've never said anything. You guys have ganged up on me. Your wives, even my wife, has ganged up on you.
You know why we ganged up on you? Because when we started this, you had the biggest mouth.
No, I didn't.
You came out swinging. You dropped 6 pounds. You kept swinging, and then you were down to 2 pounds. You're like, you stopped talking.
Well, the reason I think you're not going to win is because your belts are bursting. The simple reason. That's what's happening to you. Yeah.
There's 2 options that I'm considering right now. Option A: stop seeing anyone and everyone for the weekends. I don't exist.
No, that's not reality, man.
How is that your problem?
I know.
Day one after the competition. It's the same lifestyle. You don't change anything, and you've gotten so used to it that it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, it's just that everything I lose in the week, I gain it back in the weekend because I come over for beers or we go for whatever. And so option A is to just disappear for the entire summer, because we all know that come September.
I have a better solution for you. Just
What's option two? What's option two? Yeah.
Or option two is just go with it, and come September, that's
September's a starting date. So you're starting in September.
No. You start it. It's just that as of September, it's like you're gonna eat my dust kind of thing. That's when it really.
I'm gonna stop giving you advice because I want you to eat my shoes.
Yeah, guys. You know what? You know what we should do? We should ask the people who they think is gonna win. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just
Write it in the comments.
Just write now, Chris. Just type Chris.
Start early. I mean, put your bet in right now. As we're starting, who do you think is going to win? Let us know. Let's see.
Just type in Chris. It's spelled SUCCESS.
SUCC.
Did I spell success right?
I think so.
I don't know. All right, guys. So stick around. We're going to bring you some amazing people. We're trying to give you guys back a lot of value in this journey that we're doing. Let us know if you guys want to join, or if you're doing your own thing and how you're doing it. And who knows, if you're a dad and you're interested in sharing your experience and your journey, maybe we can bring you on the show as well and talk and exchange and see how it's going for you. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you all in the next episode.
All right. Bye.